All right, everybody. Sorry about those technical issues. We're back. After I had a complete meltdown there, one moment.
He's not
I've
back yet.
just seen it. Steam was coming out of his ears. This is wild.
Also, we won the game.
Yeah. This is our second playthrough now. We're just starting.
Yeah. We're campaign 2,
Game
new
Plus.
party. NG Plus, baby.
There we go. We should be good now. So, where were we? You guys were talking with Mr.
Grayson Baxter.
Yes,
Grayson Baxter.
Grayson Baxter.
I
Grayson
believe he had just dropped that the an American chapter had gone rogue, and we were trying to press him for more information on exactly what line they had crossed, or more information on what on earth happened, because he made it sound like it was a pretty severe issue.
Yeah, and as Victor's like, those Americans, there's like a cut shot of Rick in the back being like, and Nora is allergic to my bullshit.
Obviously.
So, he kind of pauses and he goes, there was dreadful business. They broke off or renamed themselves, called themselves the Hunt Club, decided that, that killing monsters was, I don't want to say boring, because they still do it. They still enjoy in a good, arousing game of stab the vampire, but they also decided the game stab the human is also worth playing.
They should try headbutt the vampire.
I do suppose supernatural prey is few and far in between, though it's regrettable that they've decided to broaden in their horizons instead of searching a bit harder for prey.
Yeah, unfortunately, their name change doesn't mean that they can't be traced back to us, so people call into question our loyalties. And then you have agencies like Alphabet Soup, Vasco, or whatever that routinely make stops at our branch, monthly at this point. Do you have such problems here?
Indeed, we have been dealing with some unfortunate intrusions upon our privacy, but we've managed to make some contact with the local agents that they've sent out, and I'm hoping we can come to some sort of an arrangement for a return to normal. Would be welcome, certainly. Our intrusion is a bit of a thorn in our side, as I'm sure it is for you.
Well, they've learned not to stick their nose where it hurts, so to speak, so they're just about as smart as what you would expect an animal to be. He kind of pauses and he thinks. So, what exactly has this chapter been up to? As stated, we haven't heard hide nor hair of you in several years.
Well, I can't speak for our line of communication, but we have been up to some interesting things, I suppose. We've been hosting a special event. I'm sure you're familiar with it. The Black Royale Regatta Decennium.
He raises an eyebrow. Those first 3 words make sense. That last word, I mean, I know what it means.
I don't think he does.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Unfortunately, I don't You said we.
Yes, the London chapter here has been putting on this event, this tournament, I suppose you could call it.
And it looks like he may have just taken a drink of a liquor that's probably stronger than anything you've ever tasted. It, like, he gets that look on his face like the alcohol just hit him, so to speak. He kind of shakes his head. I'm sorry, but you're speaking gibberish. I mean, as one of the former winners of the BRR, I can assure you it's a one-person event.
That's information that we'd already dug up, right? This is confirmation for us.
Yes, we had learned that this was not necessarily a one-person event. I don't recall, but I think we had learned that this sort of event was like super invite only, that they didn't usually invite like entire cells to compete. It was usually like individual people.
Not necessarily those individuals competed on their own, but that cells themselves are not invited. Only individuals out of cells.
Yes, just certain exceptional individuals.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak for tradition. This is the first BRR I've been a part of. But perhaps it's a bit different to celebrate this particular decade, I suppose. But again, I can't speak for the decisions of the council.
He kind of pauses and he goes, I'm sure. And he really pauses and thinks about his next words as Strauss enters the room.
Victor...
No recognition comes across Baxter's face as Strauss enters the room. And he kind of goes, the leadership of this particular branch stated we haven't heard from them in several years. I think I'm probably going to take my private jet back and have a discussion with the council regarding this, as this is highly irregular.
Can Rick send a couple of text messages right about now?
If you wish.
Fast, can you type?
Victor and Nora at the same time will get one that just says, if they thought we were gone, how do you know to be here? And then he's gonna get one with a picture of Strauss that has the name underneath from an unknown number.
So all 3 of your phones kind of go off simultaneously.
But I just want to interject and say that my phone is not on silent, and the Rick message tone is a fart sound.
Excuse me.
Sounds like Rick.
So everybody hears Nora's phone just go.
I roll my eyes.
He kind of he also pats his pocket as he feels his phone vibrate. And he kind of takes his phone out of his pocket, looks up. Man of the hour, then. And at this point, Cecil or Vanessa, or I should be saying Grog or Rook here. Does somebody want to grab Strauss here? So I'm not talking to myself.
I kind of like the idea of watching you talk to yourself, actually.
I think most players want to see their GM start talking to themselves, but
You made this bet.
It's a practical running gag in a bunch of the games I played in.
Strauss, I would help out, but I don't know enough about his motivations to really slide in on that.
Wait for a beat.
Pooter.
Do it for a group beat.
Yeah, I do it for a beat.
Pooter, actually, I'm gonna just officially nominate you because you're not in this at all.
Oh no! There you go.
At least there's a chance for Cecil and Vanessa. There's not a chance for Nathan, so...
Alright, so
Nathan, you're hopeless.
what's this guy's motivations? Tell me everything about him so I know how to play him.
Yeah, give it the backstory. Yes.
And eyes go to chat.
Everybody now immediately knows I am pulling up a private message to Pooter.
Aha!
Like the triumphant chuckle.
When he sees, Rick sent the message with Strauss's picture and name for two reasons. One, it sounded like this guy was leaving, and he felt like dropping this little bite might keep him here for longer, so you could press him more. Because now he knows the guy in charge, and he can try to squeeze Strauss. Maybe that keeps him from bailing before you get all the information you want. And two, if he checks his phone and looks up around to see Strauss, it gives y'all an opportunity to check y'all's without being rude, so that you can see Rick's message.
Let me do one reply here.
Keep talking.
Replies are not allowed.
Okay. Okay, so start over. Go ahead.
So the man of the hour is here. Strauss, I've been informed.
So Strath is gonna look up, startled. Oh, yes, they do say I'm in charge. How can I help you?
I was just in a rather arousing discussion here with, Nora and Victor. And he gestures to the two of them.
Oh, indeed, these are two of our finest young hunters up and coming. They're really working their way up the ladder these days. You know, it's about time we get the youngsters, more recognition.
Indubitably. Why haven't I seen you in Edinburgh, though? And I'm sorry, at my age, you tire of certain formalities, so I will just be straight. Why haven't you returned any of our messages?
Hitting me with that, eh? Well, I'm sure they just must have gotten lost in the mail. I'm sure. I will have our secretaries jump on that immediately.
Yes, please do. The members of the council and the ring would certainly like to know what's going on here. I just happened to be in the neighborhood and I heard of this gallery. I thought it was a bit odd, so I poked my head in.
Oh, really? Just poked your head in. You know, these... He kind of leans in. These are private events. You do need an invitation to get in.
I may be up in my years, but... And he kind of looks down at his phone and he kind of smirks. I am not a plebeian when it comes to technology. And at this point, he hits a key on his phone. Rick.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to make me a intelligence computer check, and it's going to be opposed.
All right. Is this? I assume this involves. This would fall under the hacking specialty.
Yes.
It's a hack off.
Kind
You
of.
intended a power glove on.
Yeah, I was fixing to say. I was like, does Rick have his power glove? Do I get a +1 for my power glove? I am going to spend a willpower on this though.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus. 13 dice on 9 again, and I get 3 successes. That's ridiculous.
Such is life. Oh my.
You've been hacked.
And he got 7 on not.
Old man, got game.
He's not hacking.
The world is unjust and unfair. It's fine.
To be exact, you're not being hacked. However, you're able to detect it. There's no way you're not gonna notice. Essentially, it seems like some sort of virus has been released into the wireless network and is currently now just infecting everything. As far as you can tell, it is just essentially opening back doors. It's not doing anything with it, but it's opening the floodgates essentially.
Well, it's fine. My dumbass isn't connected to the Wi-Fi, so I'm fine.
Next to public Wi-Fi.
It's not public. Rick set this up because like the interior of the warehouse is like if you've ever been in a place like that, there's no cell signal. So he set one up, and then like the password was given out on like business cards to people as they checked in, so they could still connect to the outside world while they were inside. And he used that as like a leverage point for opportunity.
And that network
but
is...
he's certainly not connected to it.
Yeah, that network is completely infected, but it would be something you would 100% notice.
I'm just gonna let it run, and I'm not gonna try to do anything about it. I'm just gonna text him like a thumbs up emoji, yeah, Rick's good.
But it is something you would notice. I wanted to mention it here. So, with that, you see him kind of look down at his phone and hit a button real quick. And he goes, I'm quite capable of getting my invitation for absolutely any sort of gathering the Abbey hosts. Admittedly, invitations to the London branch aren't necessarily forthcoming either. But as a member of the Ring, I'm quite capable of getting anything I truly desire.
Indeed. And if I may ask, what is a member of the Ring doing in this part of London now of all times?
Stated, I was just poking my head and I was coming to see the sights, see Big Ben. If it were the Tower of London. Maybe even go visit some family that I have in Wales. I know that's a little bit a ways, but you know, it's all within the region, so to speak.
So, quick question to the storyteller. Whereabouts are we? Or is this warehouse? Is it out of the way of all these places he's mentioning?
It's not necessarily out of the way. It is close enough to London for somebody that, obviously somehow procuring an invite, especially given his interest, it makes sense why he would show up if he was able to somehow secure an invite.
Okay. I need to think now.
As Strauss thinks, his fingers begin to unconsciously caress the top of the cane that he walks with.
Rick is gonna look at where Strauss came in, pull like as you check in, you get the card with the password. You kind of step in, you realize you have no signal, and it's gonna be obvious when people pull their phone out and connect to the Wi-Fi. He's gonna check the video for that, grab the timestamp, look and find the serial number and IMEI and stuff of the device that connected at that same time, and then text that information to the old man with Strauss's name.
Everybody can the three that are currently engaged in this conversation can hear the Baxter's phone vibrate again. He doesn't pay it any mind this time, though. Very much engaged in this conversation. A matter of fact, I was just maybe looking to judge Nora's intentions to see if maybe she would be interested in applying. Maybe a little later down the road for the ring.
Do you have a business card?
Organizations like ours don't come with business cards for very specific reasons. And I'm pretty sure you can understand those reasons.
I guess.
I mean, I'm one of the forward-facing members of the ring, and I still haven't spoken with the true higher-ups in the ring. I'm sort of a liaison between the next rung up in the ladder and the common folk.
But if there's no way to reach you, how does one join the ring?
And people say that the board of directors of Chiron International are completely untouchable and unknowable, yet I have at least 35 images of them that I could share with you.
Well, that's pretty cool, actually.
Of course, those are the ones that I would be allowed to show a prospective member. I'm sure there's more. And I'm sure some of them are in compromising positions because that would... And he actually chuckles underneath his breath, which is frankly be hilarious.
He whispered to Victor, "This old man is growing on me."
Rick is doing everything he can to find a name from that board of directors.
If you want to make me a roll for that eventually...
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
I will discuss that, and that's not going to be a fun roll for you.
Good luck with that.
Rick's gonna chase that. Rick's gonna dive down that rabbit hole for sure.
Well, if there are no further questions, I will be, I think, taking my leave at this very moment. Enjoy the rest of your Galleria, Nora. I do apologize for having to leave early, but I feel like I need to make a few reports.
Thank you for coming to my show. And I half curtsy.
Rick's gonna send him one more message, and it's the phone number to like one of his burner phones.
He's gonna, as he kind of turns to leave, he does look at his phone and he sends one message to the number that you're sending from. And it just says, make sure he doesn't follow me.
I'm gonna text Cecil and say, "Old guy leaves alone."
So now I need to ask if there is a way for Cecil to get from his rafter perch to like outside the building. Like if those like, you know, how warehouses will have like windows at the top next to the roof. If he can go out one of those to get up onto the roof so that he doesn't have to go down and walk out the same door.
With your parkour skill, most certainly you'd be able to do such.
Cool. So Cecil's gonna get up on the roof to watch the exits of one Grayson Baxter.
As he makes his way out, I'm going to make a quick check over. Strauss,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to attempt to follow him?
Well, I think Strauss would, if not himself, have someone he trusts do the deed.
So, Cecil, you would see Baxter is getting into his limousine about the time that Strauss makes it to the door.
I think Rick would also text Victor and Nora and say, "Keep Strauss tied." When he texts Cecil, and then he's gonna shut the Wi-Fi down, kill communications for like 5 minutes. So that nobody can text anybody.
Not even us.
Yeah.
Cecil
Yeah. Yeah. He'll send Cecil the message that says, "Old guy leaves alone." Send you to the message that says, "Tie up Strauss," and then he'll kill the Wi-Fi for like 5 to 7 minutes.
This is the second time Nora has been denied her phone/Wi-Fi, and that never ends well for Nora. Or I should say the first time, because this would be... No?
This is post dinner. This is post that dinner.
Yeah, post-dinner. So yeah, second time.
Second time. And counting.
Rick!
To quote one of my favorites, "Time is a weird soup."
So
I did not
Victor
put my
and
phone
Nora.
on silent, so
Strauss is walking out.
Yep. They're not... I'm guessing both Victor and Nora are not attached to their phones, so to speak.
No.
I
I doubt Victor has even checked his phone at any point during this evening.
If I
That'd be
see
rude.
Strauss starting to walk out, since I'm running the audio video, I'm gonna like dim the lights and throw a spotlight on him, and the speakers are gonna, and through the speakers be like, "And welcoming Maximilian Strauss, our guest of honor tonight. Maximilian, please, we're glad you came. Please, let us know what you think of everything. A moment to you to address the crowd."
And that light hits Strauss right as he gets to the door, essentially. And just enough for Cecil to see him, and for Strauss to be forced to watch as Baxter's limousine pulls away at a relatively quick speed, enough that, frankly, this limousine is hauling to get out.
Especially for London traffic.
Well, I don't know how good Strauss's perception is, but he's gonna try and get that license plate quickly memorized before he has to be public.
And we'll go ahead and leave that little mystery for another time. So, I feel like this is a point that we need to come to here. We need to address a very
in the room.
a very important thing that is currently happening. It is around this time that Cecil, Nathan, Rick, and Vanessa.
It's time to address the rocket in the car.
The rocket is hurtling towards you. Cecil.
Watch it as the dice just betray you utterly.
I know, right? This would absolutely be the time.
And I've rolled 27 dice with 9 again and gotten 5 successes, so they're, the odds.
And we're definitely burning a willpower here, because this is kind of life or death.
More so for one of you.
Hey, the guy that just came out of the hospital.
The one already sitting with lethal and ag.
Oh yeah, how much am I sitting on still? I accidentally deleted those.
13 dice, 2 successes.
Wow.
Luckily, they were one of the first sets, so you didn't technically need the willpower, but still. You're able to yank the car at almost the last moment. And everybody can hear the as it moves past you. In the next moment, the car is wheeling around. Cecil, they've already, as soon as they saw that the rocket missed, they're booking it for the tree line. They're trying to get up trees, as far as you can tell. They've left the one guy just writhing in pain on the ground.
Was that the guy in the back blast?
Yes.
We'll come back for that one later.
They certainly do not travel as quickly as this car does. And while this car cannot go up trees, it can deliver us to those trees in a matter of seconds.
Are you just going straight for their life, so to speak, or?
If Cecil has the opportunity, he will run somebody down with this car. But if that results in it being too dangerous, like not being able to stop or turn away from the trees in time, he won't. So safety is the first priority, but safety is the first priority. Getting us to them is the second priority, and hitting somebody with a car is the third.
How smart are these people, actually? Let me roll a die here.
Roll an intelligence check. They're not.
Cecil, you keep a pistol in here, right?
He does have one, yeah.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
Console.
Rick will grab it and hand it to Nathan, and then pull his own.
Give me that, yes.
But it's just a basic pistol, like there's not even any attachments on it or anything.
What? No tricked out attachments or anything? Oh.
Cecil's not a gun guy.
Rick's nose crunches a little when he touches it, but it's fine. I'm giving it to someone else.
So,
No laser sights, no Picatinny railing.
they have ditched also the bazooka that they were using. You saw, as soon as they saw it miss, the guy threw it over his shoulder and then just turned and ran. He wasn't allowing that to weigh him down.
Well, that's something we'll need to pick up.
Yeah. When we pick up the guy with the first degree burns, we're gonna get the bazooka that gave it to him.
So, they are not smart enough to disperse. They are kind of running together as a group.
So, I Cecil wants to pull a maneuver where like he's driving at them, but then he slides the car sideways to like broadside, and like so to hit them and also bring the car to a stop so that Rick can like tuck and roll out as soon as we get there.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make that roll. For multi-track drifting, I guess.
Oh yeah.
These guys are gonna take 4 points of lethal damage as this car comes sliding into them, and they were probably maybe 5 feet from a tree.
Well, now they're knocked down 2 feet from a tree.
Pretty much, yes, and in a lot of pain.
As soon as the car, like, Rick's not a freaking stunt guy, but as soon as so he's not gonna get stupid with it, but as soon as the car is slow enough that like he can like jump out, he does.
Yeah, I probably want to join Rick in that action. Maybe I want to try to, like, if I could, use some of the momentum of the car still to, like, launch myself out of it to tackle somebody.
They're already on the ground. You want to tackle somebody on the ground?
Yes.
Yeah, keep them on the ground.
Nathan is gonna wait a moment as the car kind of stops and shakes, just to get his bearings. He's still in quite a bit of pain before he steps out with the pistol.
So, most of these guys are just kind of groaning, holding mainly their torso. This probably would have like broken ribs, this impact. Their heads would be fine, you know, that type of stuff.
How many are there?
3.
3 here, and then the one riding with the first degree burns in the back, right?
Yes.
Okay. The first one Rick walks up to, he just puts a bullet in its head.
Do we even recognize these people? Well, minus that one.
We'll find out after.
The trunk won't fit all 4, so we got to thin the herd.
No. We got one back there.
That was out of character. That was not a Cecil thought process.
It was a Rick thought process, though.
So,
Like, Vanessa's tackling one, Rick walks up to the first and just puts a bullet in its head, and then looks back to see Nathan getting out and looks at the other one and is like, did you wanna?
Cecil, like, really quickly, you know, throws the car in park, and he goes to go pick up the launcher, and to the dude who got burned, he'll grab by like the scruff of his shirt and just drag him. Like,
now, while the other 3 were kind of like groaning, this guy is just absolutely blood-curdling screams.
My face.
Cecil might do him a favor and give him a shot to the head to shut him up.
Ooh, try and knock him out.
Give me a strength brawl.
Actually, while we're on this topic, Cecil will use his improvised weapon skill and swing the RPG launcher at him. So,
Like a baseball bat?
yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, I say okay kind of like that because this guy's got a lot of damage, so like...
And that does lethal right there.
It is not
Yeah.
yeah.
It does.
Hit him non-lethally.
But yeah, I mean, we are trying to bludgeon. We're not trying to like. This is not an
Non-lethally
attempted.
bludgeon a guy over an RPG.
This is not an attempted coup de grace.
Okay. I'm just looking for one success.
And that's all you get.
That's right.
Whack. And he does go unconscious pretty quickly.
Good.
Probably the only thing that was keeping him up was adrenaline.
Good. We're gonna drag him over to the car.
So Vanessa's got one tied up. One's got a couple of holes in its skull.
How many are there?
There's one
There's
more.
one other.
Well,
4
Nathan's
total.
gonna walk up to one and step on his chest, seeing that's what he's cradling. Hey, man. I just got the hell out of the hospital. You trying to put me back in? What's wrong with you? And I'm holding the gun to him.
He groans out. We weren't trying to put you back into the hospital. We were trying to put you 6 feet under.
Rick shoots him in the kneecap.
There's... his groans turn into more cries of pain.
Well, I'm gonna grab a stick and shove it in his mouth so he'll shut up.
Bite on this.
Yeah, bite on this, you idiot.
Speaking of stepping on top of people, going on to somebody else that's on top of another person, Vanessa.
Yeah. I think Vanessa's a bit disappointed here, thinking she was gonna get more of a fight than she was. And she's just like, whatever. And she's just like tying this guy up.
Go ahead and make a strength check. Strength brawl.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
I'm just gonna look at
Jesus,
Nathan.
that's horrible.
Be like, how many do we take back?
How many are there? How many do you have room
Wait.
for?
I mean, we have 4. I mean, they all have to leave here, but how many do we leave alive? We've got 4. Cecil's dragon. I don't know if that one's gonna be useful.
I'm gonna take this stick out of the guy's mouth. Hey, we got room for like 2 of you guys. Which ones are most important?
Oh my god.
Which I assume the one Vanessa's tying up can also hear that question.
He seems to be struggling.
Who speaks first?
Oh, actually, I'm gonna do something here. Do. If anybody wants to roll perception, however, the only person that can't right now is Cecil, because Cecil's a little too far away.
Other side of the car.
Yeah, I'll do a wits composure. We're not going to spend willpower on this one. 1 success.
3.
It's not able to hide it, but the one that you've got your boot on, Nathan, he's managed to get out what looks to be a Bowie knife of some sort, kind of just a survival type knife, and he's trying to draw it out. You see him he was trying to be sneaky about it, but like...
Oh, I see. You don't like that hand, and I shoot his hand.
Note that sound was not silenced, because Vessel's pistol was not silenced.
Much louder than Rick's Silence 22.
Oh
Much louder than the exploding rocket in the background.
Yeah. Just trying to keep a running tally of how much sound we make.
Eventually that rocket is gonna hit something and detonate.
Yeah.
Well, and most likely, if it was heading straight down the street, it'll run out of fuel and it'll come down on the street. But if it was angled off any amount,
It could hit a freaking office building. We don't know.
Yep.
It's not gonna go that far. You guys are kind of way out of the way of that type of stuff.
But you shoot him in the hand. Rick reaches down, takes the Bowie knife, picks it up, stabs it through his hand, pulls it back out, and then puts it in his belt.
Oh, that's 2 hands down.
No,
Oh, they're having
same hand.
Oh, same
two
hand.
injuries. Yeah.
While they're having fun torturing these people, I'm gonna like take this guy and shove him into the back of the trunk.
Oh, we haven't even started.
Vanessa answered our question and puts a bullet in the one that he's talking to. The one that Nathan's got his boot on.
Yeah.
Vanessa's tied the other one, throws him in the trunk. He's like, "Oh, we figured it out."
Oh well. Did they look familiar while we're?
No, actually. You're not entirely sure, but like...
I got a picture of that cell all around the Wendigo on my phone when
It
they
was
sent
just
it,
one.
right? It was just the one guy.
Yeah, it was just the one guy
I
in
thought
there.
it was the cell.
It was
Okay.
that classic, hunter pose, holding the deer's head up.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was like the group of them, but just the one. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Cool.
Nathan is gonna start checking pockets, identification, stuff like that.
Rick's like, no. We'll do that later. We gotta load him up. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
I mean, we can't kick out all of them, right?
We can carry them all. We just,
Or you just drop them to the roof like a deer?
No, we'll throw them in the back. It's gonna be messy, but we'll clean it up later. Come on, let's go. We can't just leave bodies here.
I know.
Somewhere in the background, the rocket goes off.
I think they'll be more concerned
we
with
gotta
that.
go. Yeah. Rick will pick the first one up that he shot and firemen's carry it over and throw it into the back seat and then crawl over and shove it down into the floorboard and crawl over feet up on it. Let's go.
The second one?
I guess Nathan will try and drag one over to the car. Emphasis on try.
And Rick will get out and come help you.
So, while you try, I want your first,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It's, hold on.
Agony roll.
Agony, yes. Conditions. Let me double check what I need to roll. Roll stamina for any period of stress or physical exertion.
Dragging a body is physical exertion.
Just plain stamina. A whopping 2 dice with 0 success.
Oh.
So,
That
that
dramatic failure?
I suppose? But that's gonna... Well, basically, failing that roll gives me the agony tilt. So now I'm in intense pain. So he
Rick
starts dragging.
it's like, come on. And then I hear that, I'm like, and I get out and come get the body from you and go take it in.
And now
Don't leave me here.
Nathan needs help now because Nathan's writhing in pain.
Cecil will do that rather than try to mess with bodies or captives.
We have 2 living people in the trunk and 2 dead corpses folded up in the floorboards of the back seat.
Cool.
We've got
We'll put Nathan in shotgun. I'll get in the back crisscross, my legs crisscross, so that I've got room, and then be like, "Come on, Vanessa, we gotta get out of here."
so we've got 8 bodies in this car.
Yeah, it's not.
Do we have enough room in the car for everybody, or?
It is a full size car. It's not like a.
I mean, it seats 5 plus the
Yeah.
trunk, so I imagine we can shove everybody in.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not-
We don't
not
care-
comfortable.
Not comfortable, but we don't care what angle the corpses are at.
You're probably gonna get blood all over you during this car ride.
But we are basically right outside the country club, and we're gonna get there quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, get in.
As stated, as Rook, or maybe even Cecil, just stated, it does not take very long to get to the country club from here. And I'm assuming at this point a message towards Nora and Victor might go out being like, we just got
Watch
shot.
your back. Yeah.
Look out! RPG shot at car at country club. Interrogation incoming.
Watch for flying rockets.
Set up a live feed so that Nora can watch the interrogation.
Upon that note, is Nora actually going to be like, I'm on my way. Drop everything. I'm on my way. Hold up. I want to be here.
Never taken pictures of torture before. Oh boy. Ooh.
I feel like Vanessa said that out loud to Nora.
Yeah, that doesn't seem too far out of character.
Yeah, no. Vanessa may have just said that. If Grog's okay with Vanessa having said that aloud.
Yeah, probably. I might have done a bit of miming. Yeah.
I'm on my way.
Victor, any words for this?
Yeah, I imagine Victor would also make his way over there as well to check in, because that sounds fairly urgent.
So, in the meantime, I'm assuming you're setting up a room for the 2 individuals that still live, and maybe somebody's beginning to dig a shallow grave.
Probably more than separate rooms so that they don't have contact.
Yeah,
Not within
if the
earshot,
building
yeah.
doesn't have an incinerator, if the building has an incinerator, that's where the bodies go.
I don't think this would be a place that has an incinerator.
Okay. Yeah, well, we gotta...
I'll get on it. And Vanessa's gonna like maybe we have like a tool shed for like gardeners and something around
absolutely.
here. And I imagine like this isn't the first time that the Abbeys had to dispose of bodies before on their own property, so there's probably like a plot area for like
just
where we're
had
supposed
one.
to carry the bodies.
I shot a guy like 10 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's most definitely a nice secluded spot that's kind of out of the general public view for you to drop these off.
I know there's like a beautiful paved patio with like the giant like blue stones and stuff, and like every time you have to build a body, the patio gets a little bigger.
About the time that Vanessa finishes digging these graves, I would say that's enough time for Nora and Victor to have arrived at the club.
And maybe enough time for Cecil to have stopped shaking after the adrenaline come down.
Rick will go fix Cecil like a cocktail.
You guys ever watch the movie Ready or Not?
No.
It's
No.
totally you should watch it. But in short, they have it's like this like rich family, big mansion, and like they have like this.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But they have like a charnel pit and like they're like hidden in like the barn or something. They just like tuck like that's where they keep all the corpses. I imagine it's something very similar to this now.
Yeah, Rick will fix Cecil a cocktail, and be like, Vanessa, you got any pain meds for Nathan?
Oh, I got some.
You got, okay, all right, good.
Prescription.
You want a drink? I'm making one for Cecil already. I can make it a double real easy.
Yeah, get me on that.
Not you.
Drinks for everyone.
Fine, Jesus. Okay, all the drinks. And Rick will start making drinks for everyone as Vanessa is securing the captives and burying bodies. Rick is like making like Long Island teas for everybody.
Probably getting into a spare change of clothes to get like the corpse residue off me.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm sure all of us are changing clothes. Imagine Rick's is like, nope, not that cabinet, not that cabinet. Where are the lowball glasses? Jesus. This setup makes no sense.
They're the only clothes I have on me.
Well, you were sitting in the front seat, so you kind of avoided the most of the
I
blood.
avoided the bloodshed.
A little bit of a splatter on your pants, probably, from where Rick bullet holed those guys.
Yeah, that could be written off as mud.
It. I'll text like one of my guys and be like, need a change of clothes at the clubhouse.
Okay. So, are they separated yet?
That had to have been like the
Yeah.
first thing.
Yeah, that was the first thing that was done.
number one.
Do not want them figuring out a plan together.
No. The only time they got together was while they were bound up in the trunk, and one of them was unconscious. Makes everybody a drink. Vanessa gets in. Everybody gets there. As Nora and Victor walk in, I'll just like hold them both up a lowball glass. Like you may want a drink. And then I'll just like set it down on like the nearest hard surface next to Nora. She just like stares at me and then turn around and walk off with the one that's in my hand. It's good.
Nathan is going to look at Cecil with his face in his hand there. First time having a rocket shot at you?
Yeah. You know, you face death down a number of times from things that aren't human, but it still doesn't, like, it's kind of different from having like an industrialized weapon of war fired at you.
It is a different train of thought, isn't it? Hey, it missed.
No,
Nice
it wasn't
driving,
gonna. It wasn't going to miss. That smoke trail was real straight on behind us.
At that time, Rick just puts a drink in Cecil's hand.
I wonder what their deal was. First off, where'd they get a rocket?
I mean,
I know it's not that hard for
rocket. Yeah,
it's not that hard for people like us, but that would imply they're people like us.
That's why they want people like us.
I think the whole point of this is to figure out who's like us and who's not. They're not.
So they're just firing rockets at random people? These must be really skilled people.
Some people have a lot more money than they have sense.
Oh, ain't that the truth? All right.
What was it? 2013, Nathan? Was that the last time we had an RPG shot at us?
It's got to be. I mean, it wasn't all that often, but
Oh God. It was we did New Year's on base. They brought the goat in. It was the whole thing. It was just a couple weeks after that, right?
As everybody
It was
kind of
2013.
listens to this conversation, you're like, goat?
Yeah.
Military base? What?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's not our first time. It's been a few times.
Rick doesn't carry himself like a military guy most of the time.
Anymore.
Not anymore. Nathan does, but Rick doesn't. It's just, well,
Oh, I remember. You brought that girl.
yeah. The guys at the gate, and they, sometimes you get through the gate and they don't do the inspection, and sometimes they won't let you go through. And that one cost me 3 handles of soju to get through with her hiding. Jesus Christ. I owed the Koreans a big favor on that one.
Yeah, she was expensive.
Well, let's go talk to these guys. And he chugs the Long Island, sets it down, starts walking towards the stairs.
So, who is the first one on your question list?
Probably the guy that does not have the burn wounds. Actually, no, I think the guy with the burn wounds.
Shiz, does he still have his lips from all that?
As you kind of walk in, the guy is slowly coming to. Potent amounts of screaming are incoming as, he begins to be able to feel his burning, somewhat melted off flesh. Nora, did you happen to follow them into the room?
I did.
You see a man that has some pretty severe, essentially, it's chemical burns, technically?
It would be heat, just
It'd be heat
back
burn.
blast.
Heat burn,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, back blast,
actual fire launches it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this guy's just got some gnarly burns. Like, you've seen this type of stuff in movies?
Parts
Special.
of his skin are probably like truly melted all the way down to the subdermal. Like it's probably rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
Nathan's gonna go in and with some very potent medicine, just to shut him up, to start. Bring his pain down so that he can stop screaming and answer questions.
That's not how burn wounds work.
No? Okay.
Rick moves in and just kind of sets up a chair and sits down in it and has like a bottle of water and opens it up and just takes a drink and just stares at him while he screams and just wait for the screams to stop.
That is literally going to be until his voice cracks.
It's fine.
Takes a while, but it eventually does. Who's all in the room during this time? Or do some of you break off to go speak with the other one?
I don't think Cecil's gonna go in. I think he'll be
It feels more like a Rick thing than a Vanessa thing, so she's just gonna like stay back and let this happen out.
like Cecil will be nearby. Like he's not gonna be like on the other side of the compound or anything. Like he'll be nearby enough that if somebody yells, he'd be able to hear it. But he's not gonna go in. I don't think.
Nathan, can you get IVs, antibiotic, morphine, everything we need to treat this?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's easy enough.
Let's get all that ready. And he looks at the guy and says, I don't think we've met. What's your name?
And it seems like he may have said Mark, but between the gasps and obvious pain and sometimes just breaking into just gibberish screaming,
Yeah.
it's the best you're gonna get in this situation.
Yeah. I was gonna say, here's the deal. Mark, I think it was. There's a few ways, and Rick's gonna talk slowly, very precisely, and kind of loud, just to make sure and he's gonna enunciate very clearly to make sure this guy can distinguish the words through kind of the pain in his own sobs. He's gonna say, there's a few ways that this can go. One of them is that I grant you the mercy of escape. The other is that I treat you until you can walk out of here of your own accord. Third is that I can keep you alive like this for a very fucking long time. I'm gonna have my friend here start the process of making you a little better than you are now. And once you can talk properly, I'm gonna come back in and we're gonna make a decision which of those three paths you're gonna pick. Okay, Mark?
You get something that you might construe as confirmation, but hard to tell.
Good. Get better fast. You're not the only one here. The more they talk, the less useful you are. I'm very angry with what you've done. Then I'm gonna get up and walk out.
In my head, I'm just like, this guy didn't do nothing.
Guilty by association.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I get it.
And then we'll go to the second room.
Now, this guy. What rooms did you put them in? Were they like the essentially hotel-esque rooms?
I assume there's like a basement, maybe even a sub-basement, because there's like a clubhouse style thing. I imagine there's like a basement with like almost like outside loading dock doors to receive like large quantities of food and stuff for commercial kitchen for events. And then maybe even a sub basement with like maintenance stuff. So I imagine like down in there somewhere.
Okay. This guy, despite his very injured hand and his injured knee, has made, as you get down there, you can only say probably the most admirable effort possible to try and one arm pull himself through those little tiny basement windows. Like, he's one-arming it, he's getting himself like probably up to the bottom part of his sternum with one arm. just pressing himself up, trying to get himself through that window. Like,
So,
if he wasn't trying to escape, it would be very admirable. You'd be like, that's determination.
do you imagine that there's a window into this room, or do you imagine that, like, Rick would open the door and see this?
You would open the door and see him trying to get out.
Okay. Is there anything heavy and blunt? And Rick, yeah, Rick's going to pick up the nearest heavy object he can find in or outside of the room. He's gonna quietly walk up behind the guy, and the arm he's kind of got stuck through it. Just fucking smash the shit out of him on the shoulder joint.
I'm not gonna make a roll here. I think it would be silly. You're gonna hear a cry of pain as he topples to the ground. A few expletives escape his lips, directed at Rick.
Vanessa, your ropes came undone.
Yeah.
He fell.
No, yeah, Ian and I just see him crumpled on the ground.
Rick's like holding some sort of blunt instrument in his hand.
Yeah. All right, and yeah, I guess she'll retie him up.
Rick will
this time much probably tighter.
At
Rick
this
will take
point,
the folding chair he brought from the other room and set it up in this room in like the same manner and just sit down while Vanessa ties him back up and stuff. Just wait patiently, drink a little sip of his water.
at this point, I do want to take a small moment here. Diffuse the situation. Take a breath. Victor, what are you currently up to?
Well, I believe that we had all kind of convened for this little event here, this interrogation, and Victor's been more or less leaving it to the rest of the group as to what they intend to do. He doesn't have necessarily as much personal investment in this. He wasn't targeted by the RPG. It's a little less personal for him, but I imagine he'd be willing to play the good cop, shall we say, if that role is required.
So at this point, that your phone rings. The number you know quite well.
I'll give it an answer then, saying as if saying that my hands aren't particularly tied at the moment.
Dastin speaks up. So, Victor.
It's good to hear you again, Daniel.
Yes. So I've done a little bit of digging.
Oh, excellent. I hope you've found something worthwhile.
I haven't found any names. Not yet. I do have a location locked down, though. I have actual units there. Certain other things have now popped up on that radar that I can legitimately, without even needing to necessarily do as you asked, I can legitimately throw officers at it. So, to make things as brief as possible, this establishment, and you hear what sounds like papers being ruffled in the back. A Deerfoot. It seems to be a dive bar. Seems to have been used in some less than reputable recreations, and has certain dealings with people that work outside the bounds of the law. I don't wish to get too much into it. While we haven't, as stated, gotten you any names, we are reasonably sure that this was definitely used as a meeting location, and as such, the proprietor and all those within employment of the establishment are now currently awaiting trial. Let's just say that. We've got them on enough charges to actually put them away, so they are officially arrested.
No. Well, it seems that we've stumbled upon something a bit more interesting, I suppose. It's commendable.
One of the people that robbed your place. I don't know what they may have been doing, but I'm not gonna get into the nitty-gritty details, but they did seem to have dropped something that allowed us to trace it back to here. We will find them eventually, but I obviously wanted to give you this rather large update here. I didn't want you just twisting in the wind, so to speak.
I appreciate the call. If I'm sure you're already working on it, but I would appreciate any information that you might be able to put forward as you collect these profiles of yours. Hoping at least to cross-reference a bit and see if any persons of interest might have any connections, however tangential, back to me that would give me some sort of reason for this attack, this brazen theft of my property. But I would hate for you to do all the work in this regard. Anything that you can send my way would be appreciated. But thank you for this swift and decisive action on this matter. I'm hoping I can get my books back soon, before they've been damaged irreparably.
Of course. We're gonna lean on Samuel, the proprietor of this establishment. We're gonna lean on him a bit, see if we can't get anything dredged up. Seems to be some sort of ex-military, from what I can tell.
Intriguing. Well, thank you for that. I'm a bit preoccupied at the moment, but I'll do my best to get out there and see what else I can find, and hopefully touch base with you. Perhaps get a chance to catch up in person for a change.
Absolutely. I have a rather fine bottle of brandy I've been looking to crack open.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time. But really, I can't thank you enough, Daniel. You've done honestly more than I had hoped. But I have no doubt you and your men can get to the bottom of this.
We will certainly see where these threads lead because, this place was a mess. I'll just phrase it like that and let you get about your day. And with that, the line does go dead as he hangs up.
And with that, as Victor kind of puts the phone away in his pocket, he kind of thinks to himself like, I should be making a rather charitable contribution to the police pension fund. That seems in order.
So, now that we've... how's Cecil doing?
He's still processing. He's drinking. he's sitting and trying not to imagine what might be happening in those rooms that he's not inside.
Because those rooms that you're not inside, they are not soundproof. So, you would be hearing screams.
Yeah.
And at this point, we're doing a little bit of a fast forward. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of Rick beating somebody, so we're gonna go ahead and skip over that.
It will be intense to say the least. There will be pictures taken of all 4 of their faces before the other 2 are buried and everything else, because Rick's going to run through that through every piece of facial recognition he can find. And he has all the time in the world to handle this. He'll empty the phones out of the pockets of everyone and set those to the side for some forensic. And I imagine it's a number of visits over a number of hours where he talks to them, leaves, digs through some stuff, looks through their phone, comes back, talks some more, leaves again, etc., until he thinks he has the whole picture put together.
So, that picture, honestly, comes mostly from your burned individual. The other guy is, frankly, belligerent at any point. He's made the statement, I spit out the question multiple times and spit on your face. And realistically, I don't see... Well, I'll leave it up to you. This guy is belligerent, completely and utterly insulting, threatens you, your cell, your family, every single time he can see you. Would Rick allow this guy to keep breathing?
Oh, neither one of these people are leaving their rooms alive. Neither one of them.
The question more is this guy just, because of his belligerent nature, just going to get the short end of the deal, since the other one is marginally more cooperative?
I think if we have one cooperative and one belligerent, and they're not able to talk to each other, the one that's belligerent, I think what would happen is, once I have as much information about him as I can, I know if he has a family, I've ran his face through like all the facial recognition databases I can, what countries he's traveled to recently, driver's license stuff. Like, when I have everything, I'm just gonna sit down with him. I'm gonna turn like an iPad, like a tablet to him. Be like, you, picture of your house, picture of this, picture of this. And I'm gonna show him everything he cares about. And then I'm gonna walk out for about an hour. I'm gonna come back in and put a bullet in his head.
All right.
Not a nice person.
He shot a rocket at me. Oh, we got your friend drunk. Eh.
No, it's actually them.
We'll figure it out. Imagine by the time he catches the bullet, Rick has a pretty good idea if these guys belong to them or not.
Nora, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm just like watching all of this happen.
Nathan?
Still in a bit of pain. He has taken some drugs to alleviate that. So still a little throbby. He's kind of taking that out on Burned Guy as well.
So, with all the information over the last couple of hours, Rick, passports show up that they have been to America recently. You know that they're card-holding Abbey members. Things are lining up. They don't admit it, but that moment of, yes, I know that name comes across their face when the name Jasper inevitably comes up.
The key things Rick is looking for, either from them, from their phones, or from whatever, is are they a member of that cell or another cell? What are the names of the members in their cell that are not them? And how can I find them?
Yes. The names that they have are the ones that are dead and gone in this situation. As well as Jasper's name, which he's not here.
So I feel like he's the only member of this cell not currently present in some capacity.
To the best of your knowledge, yes.
Nathan will pipe up. Who the hell's Jasper? Why does he want us dead?
Remember that guy that got drunk? Vanessa made a fool of him at the party?
Oh, you mean the party I wasn't there for? The party my
Right.
daughter
Yeah,
my
the
daughter
one-
barged in on.
That one. Yeah. That one. We made him look like an idiot in front of everyone. I think he thought that was going to be his clubhouse, but now it's not. And apparently he thought that was worth a grenade.
Well,
Is this Sid with everybody within earshot? Just... Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Want to make sure everybody can chime in if they so desire.
Yeah.
I mean, seems a bit rash on his part, but then again,
I mean, he did make particular allusions during the dinner, rather particular threats, something French Revolution. I would say it's not too far off base.
so he hands the job over to some amateurs and thinks, cool, I'm all right.
He didn't appear to be in the greatest sound faculties of mind.
He's a
I
fucking idiot.
think years of alcoholism and perhaps syphilis have addled that brittle little brain of his to veritable grey goo. To say nothing of his manners.
Rick just laughs. I was like, I like you, Victor. I don't care what anybody else says about you.
I suppose.
And then looks at the burn victim and just puts a bullet through him.
No, I wasn't done poking him.
Sorry.
Yeah, when you relieve this guy of his life, Vanessa's gonna like, all right, picks up the burnt pile of meat here and begins taking him to the facilities out back.
Did we get information on how to or where to find or locate Jasper?
That information, unfortunately, does not seem to be available. It does seem like from what you could understand, Jasper honestly did not trust these people very much. It almost seemed like he was pretty sure they were going to mess it up. So he was very selective with the information that they actually had.
It may be an extended action or something, but I do have a picture of Jasper.
You?
Full frontal, face.
At least
Rick's
it's not a full Monty.
Yeah, it's a full frontal, not a full Monty. And Rick's gonna dig in with that facial and see if he can figure out over time. Like I said, I wouldn't expect this to be an immediate thing, but he's gonna put some time into locating Jasper.
All right, that's perfectly fine. However, I feel like this is a point to address a certain elephant in the room. You guys have been rather candid. And while I know Rick has most certainly rewired the Abbey security system, there's no issue of that. There is another issue that needs to be addressed. And that will come in the form of a text message. The text message is very, very... Everybody gets this text message. It's very plainly written. The intent is very clear. Vasco, MI5, Lieutenant Oliver Cullen. I am reaching out to you because I am, of course, keeping up with your guys' movements, as I had very clearly informed you that I was. As such, your current discussion is of interest to me. I am not particularly interested in the 6 of you at this time, so do not take this message as that. I would like to arrange a time to speak with you regarding these individuals that you have so graciously removed from your midst. I do wish I would have been able to speak with them first. However, beggars can't be choosers. This Jasper fellow, I would like to speak with you about him and get what you know. And maybe compare notes. And that is pretty much the extent of the text message. It's quite eloquently written for it being a text message.
It's a rather long text message.
It does read almost like the way Victor speaks.
It's why it took them so long to send it.
He probably sends his text messages from like a computer, so he was at a keyboard, so it didn't feel so long when he was typing it.
Not all of you are just like...
Scroll. God, this guy's long-winded. Come on, get to the point. Come on.
Jesus. Victor, why don't you invite Oliver to dinner?
That seems like a reasonable course of action. I suppose now that we have an avenue of communication, I can try and set something up, and we'll see what the lieutenant is amenable to, and hopefully we can work together on this issue and put an end to this nuisance that we are both apparently dealing with. Enemy of my enemy, I suppose.
Kessel's not going to say it, but Quinn?
That's the last time we talked about Quinn. It was all done through subtle subtext about dinners, which is why Rick phrased it that way to Victor.
I as soon as that text message of like asking to meet up, Victor was just absolutely delighted at the thought. Like, oh, I don't even have to spend any effort on my part. Like, they're reaching out to me. Like, how lovely.
It's that much easier to kill them.
But yes, being very careful about verbiage, given that we haven't discussed this matter since the warded room dinner. But yes, just Victor will just leave it at that. I'll handle making arrangements for this. I'll see what I can do.
I like it when they're not afraid of me. It means I don't have to chase them.
I mean, chasing's half the fun sometimes.
How's
Yeah,
this?
Rick's gonna,
This is all being said aloud. I have to ask.
no. That was like kind of what was running through Victor's.
About the
Oh,
killing.
okay.
It was more running through Victor's head. It was like, no. The only thing Rick said out loud was like, "Hey, Victor, how about we invite Oliver to dinner to discuss it all?" The I like it when they're not afraid of me. I don't have to chase them. That's his thought process.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
That would have vomited.
All right. I have to check sometimes on stuff like that.
We all just like collectively are like, all right, like how do we kill him?
Let's all discuss.
While he's listening in very clearly.
Rick's gonna collect all the phones off the corpses and stuff, and take all the information, and he's gonna head back to his flat and start digging real deep on Jasper.
All right, so that's what Rick is going to do in the meantime. Victor?
Yes.
You've got two things that you could do right now. As a GM speaking to a player here.
Yes. Well, decision. Given the development that we have, Victor is going to try and arrange for a meeting with our, shall we say, associate, who just so happens to be body snatching. But given current surveillance, Victor will have to be careful regarding how he broaches this matter. But first of all, I think priority one is setting up a time and location to meet, and once we have that specific down, then perhaps we can rope our possessor into this endeavor. But for now, yeah, let's get in touch with the lieutenant and see what we can arrange. After all, he's extended the invitation.
So, what exactly does your message say to him? Or are you gonna straight up call him?
Given that he's decided to broach the matter in textual format, as much as he's loath to do so, he'll probably respond in in kind. And Victor will suggest, of course, dinner. Perhaps the same restaurant that we ferreted away to on that last occasion. Something familiar, but not on his reasoning being it's private enough, given it's like a side room, but not suspicious enough that it would necessarily throw them off, given that we've already had a conversation there. There is some unfortunate side of consequences that could happen if things get rough and tumble in there, but Victor will float that as the first option and see how the lieutenant responds, if this is acceptable, or if he has already preordained a location for this meet and greet.
You get a text almost immediately. That is acceptable. I will be coming with... I will not be alone, as I would expect you not to be alone. We are not necessarily allies, so I understand that you would not have full trust in me, as I would hope you understand I do not have full trust in you either. So, as such, I will have a few other agents with me, as I would expect your crew to be there.
Yes. Victor will just respond that this is acceptable, and go about arranging reservations, shall we say.
During this time, Vanessa.
Yeah.
As Rick does his computer stuff, and as stated, this is going to take like a week or so for Rick to do. What does Vanessa do in the time in between?
She might, don't want to deviate too hard, but she's probably going to be looking into the whole Ireland thing. And maybe thinking about how can I kill this guy, this police guy that I don't like.
So, intelligence investigation?
Yeah. For the Ireland thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a chance die.
Yeah,
That's not.
I realize.
I did it!
Nice.
Look at that!
Mainly probably through luck more than anything.
So. So, obviously, knowing your connections to, or knowing some sort of connection to Network Zero,
Yeah.
just start kind of going ham. You're like, Vanessa's typing in, iron, what use for? Ireland. You know, very like weird search queries.
It's like if you looked at your own grandmother's Google search history, kind of a deal here.
So
She knows enough how to use the internet, but she's like very much like cemented in her own the physical world.
So you kind of begin to go down somewhat of a rabbit hole. Iron in Ireland eventually leads you to talk of the wee folk, the fairy folk, which eventually leads you down to, you know, obviously Irish folklore and the like. And at this point, I want composure plus resolve here. I feel like this is a good roll for memory.
Can I be helping Vanessa? Because I feel like if I don't have anything else going on, I'd probably be very invested in what's going on with her.
2 successes.
Oh, actually, this is a pretty good question. Speaking of what was just brought up. So, after your conversation with Rick, Vanessa, knowing how close you are to Nora, would you have opened up to Nora?
Yeah, probably at some point. Be like, hey, I could use your help. You know how to use these computer things, and I don't trust Rick 100%.
I get that.
Yeah. Here's what's happening. Yeah, and she'll tell you about like the whole memory loss thing that she's been going through, and about the thing with the apartment and burning down one of my houses. You handed me over a car, burns down my house.
How dare he? But I got your back, girl. Like, let's do some research. Let's figure out who you are.
You're muted.
Oh, am I?
No,
No,
right.
Oh, thank God.
Is this the moment Nora finds out that Vanessa opened up to Rick first?
Yes.
It was kind of, I don't take it personally because it was inevitable.
Rick
since
was
we're-
being an ass. He was pressuring me on it.
Yeah.
You sell it how you want to, girl.
What else is new?
So, with that, roll, as Nora and Vanessa begin to pour over these things. As stated, Iron and Ireland eventually lead you to the Fair Folk, which leads you down into some of the older legends and mythology of Ireland. And it's about this point.
I think I was hunting a unicorn. No, the leprechaun.
No.
Arnold.
One of the names sticks out to you, Vanessa. And it's spelled CERNUNNOS.
NOS. Serenars?
That's the name of a god.
I'm going to Google that if that's alright with you.
Were you hunting a god?
The Horned One, an archaic and powerful deity widely worshipped as the Lord of the Wild Things. I think I read a book about that one time.
Is that just more said, or is that actually even said? Let me rephrase that.
So have you ever heard about where the wild things are?
Yes.
It's a very popular children's storybook.
Yes. However, that's not what's triggering your memory. A couple
Are
of
you sure?
a couple of times, as you think back to those conversations that you partially remember, that name pops up more than once.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll share that with Laura. Yeah. I have no idea what this guy's got to do with anything. I don't know if I could hunt a god down, but you know, that sounds like a fun thing.
Yeah, punch a god.
Sounds like something you would want to do, Vanessa.
When you're face to face to God, what other option do you have other than just spit in its eye?
Vanessa's so hardcore.
So, that bit of time, research. Cecil. What are you doing as Rick does his research?
Cecil is probably going to take a few days to go to Neverland and not have to worry about any of this stuff again. But that said, while he's just kind of hanging out in abandoned places, he will probably also like use his phone to do some internet searches, and he's gonna be looking for people who are connected to antiquities, because he's going to be looking for that those PC initials, and like he's not going to do anything too serious with the investigation. He's just looking for headlines of people who go to auctions, or because stuff like that makes headlines. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be looking through just headlines of people who are connected to old things, antiquities and museums and collectors, and see if he can figure out who this PC person is.
So, go ahead and give me intelligence investigation. Unless there's a specific mode, such as computer or something that might be better suited.
I think intelligence and investigation. And he gets 1.
So, very quickly, you come to somewhat of a annoying realization that PC very, very likely just stands for private collector, which doesn't mean necessarily you're searching something. As you are poring over these different news articles, a lot of these names are familiar to you. Several of them are Abbey members of some known quantities. Of course, the Abbey obviously having interest in such things, and certainly having the amount of money needed to throw around at an auction. Ugh. So that's not all that surprising. However, you don't find that item of unknown deity. You do find out that the Bastet statue was sold to somebody with the initials of MS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to put something we steal from him in a gallery that we then present to the Black Royale.
Oh no. Okay.
I can't think of a better way to display the arrogance vice.
Also, can I go ahead and get your computer roll while we're at this, Rick, since we're kind of nearing a full circle?
Yeah.
There's only one other person after we finish with Cecil here.
I'm gonna burn a willpower on that one.
What?
But go on, Cecil.
Wow.
Ow. 9 successes on 9 again.
My goodness.
What a roll.
That is. There you go.
All those low rolls from earlier.
Because that guy, specifically.
Yeah, Rick is motivated for sure.
It's been a long time since somebody shot a rocket at him and he's not happy about it.
Yeah, Cecil not happy with it either. You can be sure if Rick reaches out to Cecil for help with any of this, Cecil will be like, "I'm there." Oh man. Okay. So I don't think Cecil would know what to do exactly with those initials. So he will, at some point, like he's not going to feel a rush about it, but at some point he's going to bring that lead to the cell as a whole, just to make sure that all possible help could be tapped into. So the next time everybody gathers, he'll bring up this little shipping quest and those familiar initials.
Nathan.
So Nathan is going to be using his allies to shut down Jasper's like contacts and resources and whatever, like using the rocket launcher as a start. Where's he getting his equipment? Who's his dealer? Because Rick is not Nathan's only arms dealer. He's got other people for his private army. So he's gonna go through that route and weaken him financially, weaponry wise. Just clip his nails, his claws.
Yeah, Rick is less, would even be less of an arms dealer and more of like a.
Yeah, you're more of a
if
research.
Yeah, or if you needed like something specialty done, you're like, hey, I've got these things, but what I really need is these things. Like you can disassemble and reassemble into like a one-time use object kind of thing.
Yeah, you're Nathan's specialty guy, so he's got other guys for the mass-produced type stuff.
Yeah.
So, while yes, that does fall underneath. Well, technically, your allies is PMC, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Not arms dealers. Or
I can have that as a contact.
So, okay, you're putting that as a contact. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure where we were with
Yes,
that.
sorry.
Go ahead and... This is going to be manipulation and persuasion, because companies generally don't like giving up the names of their clients.
Well, okay.
But you do have good relations with them. So I will say make the roll at +2.
+2. I will also spend a willpower.
And since you're probably a bigger buyer than Jasper ever could hope to be,
three successes.
you get sort of a non-committal answer. The reason I say that is they're not willing to say, yes, hey, we sell weapons to that guy. But you do get the affirmative. If we see that his name comes up, we will blacklist him.
Sweet. Yes, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
It was less about knowing that he gets his weapons. It's more like shutting him down. Yeah.
Well, I have to think 3 steps ahead because of Rick up there.
Right.
So.
Right.
I needed to nip something in the bud before it came up, essentially.
You're welcome.
So with that, I feel like we're at a good point to go ahead and call this session. So, unfortunately, we will not be here next week. We will be back the week after. So, we look forward to seeing everybody then. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.